Hey guys, it me. Wow, I haven't spoken in a really long time. Holy crap, okay. If you can't tell, background is all different and whatnot. I don't know why my camera keeps focusing. Come on, let's stop it. And it's kind of a mess behind me and whatnot, like the floor. I don't know if you can, okay, you can't really see it. Well, there's a mess of stuff everywhere, okay. But maybe it's that light. Hopefully that's better. Nope, it's still trying to focus. I don't know. I got a new phone. If you're watching, then you already read the title of the video. I'm not gonna cry. Which means that you then know, oh my god, which means you know that Butters and Steve are gone. For those of you who don't know who Butters and Steve are, I did a video a while ago where I introduced you to my pets, and Butters and Steve were my pet rabbits. I didn't really know if I should have made a video, but something made me feel like it was the right thing to do, because I know a lot of people did like them. I know that when I first got Steve, people were flooding my comments with, oh my god, you have a pet named Steve, because the Markiplier video where he was playing Google Feud and he says, help, I accidentally swallowed my pet named Steve, which is why I named my second rabbit that I got Steve. So I felt like it was the right thing to do, was to make a video telling you guys that they were gone. And I know because I'm making this video, people are going to ask what happened, because I made a video when I first got Steve, so a lot of people can probably put 2 and 2 together and realize that Steve was only 2 and Butters was going to be 4 next month. I know, because this is the internet, people are going to be like, well, they were just caged animals, so, like, who cares? But the thing is, they were my first, like, my pets, like, not that, oh, it was my pet, but my parents were the ones who, like, bought it and take care of it and buy all the things. No, it was my pets. My mom did buy Butters, and then Gavin had bought Steve, but I took care of them, or at least tried to. I fed them, watered them, cleaned their cages, let them out to play. Oh, God damn it. They were my pets. They were my first ones that were just mine. It wasn't like if I were to move out, I would have to have left them at my parents' house. They were my pets. They were mine. So, because I'm making this video, I should explain to you guys what happened, because I know people are going to realize, well, it's not like they just died from being old, because they were so young. So the first disclaimer, I wasn't home when it happened. Over the weekend, me and Gavin, we were staying the night at my brother's house to help babysit, while he and my sister-in-law were out just enjoying a weekend by themselves. And one of the nights that we were staying there, I was surprised that I woke up, first of all, because normally my phone is under a pillow, and I only have my phone on vibrate just because with work and everything, like, I'm there all the time, so there's no sense in me turning my sound on, because I'll just forget to turn it off. I had it on vibrate, and normally when my phone's on vibrate and under a pillow, I can't hear it. I don't wake up to it. So I'm surprised I got the call, but that's only because at my brother's house, the outlet that I was using didn't reach the bed. It could only reach the nightstand that was next to it. So that's where it was. So I woke up to the buzzing of my phone on the nightstand, and I saw it was my sister Dee, and I was really confused as to why she was calling me at 2 in the morning. And I answered the phone, and she said that her boyfriend had some shit he needed to tell me. And I instantly thought it was just going to be something random, because I assumed that he was drunk and just wanted to tell me something random. Because that's kind of what he does. He just starts blabbing and won't stop. So I was like, oh great, I don't want to hear this. But then he didn't say anything when she put him on the phone. So she took the phone back. Before I get into it, I want you guys to know it wasn't Ivy, because she's been around the rabbits, and the most she would ever do is paw at the cages, but she never like actively tried to like go for them or whatever. She just wanted to know what they were and what they were about, but since she grew up with them, she knew not to mess with them, because we would yell at her. So I know it wasn't Ivy, but my sister's got a dog named Ava. But anyway, so Dee got the phone back, and she told me that her boyfriend had let the dogs back inside. And so this is a new area. This is the downstairs area. Me and Gavin have the downstairs area, which is a bedroom, bathroom, living room. And we have gates on both of the staircases leading here. And she said that he let the dogs inside, but just closed the door and left. So he didn't close the gates, which gave Ava full access to downstairs and the rabbits. She didn't eat them. She only killed them. I'm not mad at her dog. I'm not. Obviously, I kind of resent her dog, but it's not her dog's fault. I completely understand and accept that, and I hope that my sister does too, because I know that she blames herself as well, because it was her dog. But I know that her dog's a husky, so her dog was definitely just following its natural instincts. And I know that she has killed rabbits outside before. So we fully were aware that if she ever got downstairs, that's what she would do to mine. Which is why we had the gates up. But I mean, what good does a gate do if you don't close it? And it's not like their cages were the strongest either. I don't know how strong cages from PetSmart can really be. But the thing that I am most... Anyway, so Dee called me and told me that happened. And, I instantly just dropped my phone and started screaming. Gavin wasn't happy either. And he said that he almost cried, but he didn't, just because I was freaking out. But the entire time that I was screaming and freaking out, the only thing I could think of was when my friend Olivia, she also had a rabbit named Bob, who her dog had killed 2-3 years ago. And all I could remember was she had called me when he first attacked her rabbit, but her rabbit didn't die right away. I don't know if Butters and Steve died right away. I can only hope that they did. So that way I know they didn't suffer. But the only thing that I could think of was her screaming to me over the phone, saying that he was dead and please help. I don't know what to do. And then in that moment when I was doing the same thing except to Gavin, at that moment I was like, this is exactly how she felt. At first, when her rabbit first died, I was like, I can't even imagine the pain that she's going through right now. So I was just sitting on the phone frozen with her because I had no idea what to do. Like, this was the scariest thing for me as at 15 or 16. And I'm like, this is the feeling of helplessness. And all I knew is I never wanted to feel this feeling again. I feel like if it was that they had died of natural causes, like if they had lived their full age and just died from being old, it would be a completely different feeling, because, like, that's their time to go. But this wasn't it. I know a lot of people blame themselves for it happening, which actually kind of surprised me, because I didn't expect my 2 rabbits to have made as big of an impact on my family as they have. I know I blame myself because I wasn't there for them. Because maybe I could have gotten them better cages, so this wouldn't have happened, and Ava wouldn't have been able to break them. I know my sister blames herself because it was her dog. My brother and sister-in-law blame themselves because I was at their house. And I'm sure that if I was here and I was sleeping at home, I would have definitely heard Ava attacking the cages. Because, I mean, I wake up to them just drinking out of their water bottles out here, because the room is just on the other side of the wall. I feel like my mom, because she cried too, I feel like she maybe blames herself because I wanted my younger sister to take Steve, just because Butters and Steve didn't like each other, so I didn't want to keep them together anymore. And I was at home for about a week before we moved in here, and, like, their personalities started to shine because Maddie, my younger sister, kept Steve in her room, I kept Butters in my room, and their personalities just started to shine more. Steve was more friendly with my sister and was, like, would walk up to her when she put him on her bed, and he would, like, climb on her. Butters would come out of his cage more, because they don't like, I didn't leave their cages open when I was gone, but I would open their cage doors when I was in the living room, just because I can't leave them alone unattended, because they would fight. So I would always open their cages and leave them open, and they wouldn't come out ever. They hated coming out of their cages, but they started to like it when they were in separate rooms, so they were just better as separate rabbits. So I'm sure my mom might blame herself because Steve wasn't at her house. But I mean, really, it's only the person who left the gate open instead of closing it, because we made it a rule that Ava wasn't allowed down here, especially when no one else was down here, because she would have attacked the cages and broken them. It wasn't like a bloody massacre either. I didn't see them. I didn't have the heart to see them, but my sister told me that she didn't see any bite marks anywhere on them. So it was probably just a bite to the neck and then they were gone, which is what I'm seriously hoping. So because I had their bodies, I decided to get them cremated. Just because it would have felt weird for me to just bury them and not have anything left of them. You can't tell, I miss them a lot. Like, once we moved, even though they were both in the living room, I kept them on different sides of the room to where they couldn't see each other's cages. And that kind of helped them keep their personalities for the week that we were here. Like, every time I would walk past Butters' cage, he would, like, stand on his hind legs and want to be let out. which was kind of amazing for me because I'm not used to that happening. Like, he wanted to come out. Granted, when I would open his cage, he would thump and then hide under his little stand type thing, but once I walked away, he would jump out. And I haven't made a video on our cat Marvin yet. We got a cat, and I was gonna post it, but I haven't really finished editing it, and then all of this happened, so I'm just not in the mood of, like, really doing any of that stuff. But we have a cat, and he and Marvin were kind of becoming buds. Steve would still, if I let him out, he would run and go find Butters. Butters would jump back into his cage, and then Steve would just kind of enjoy his victory and run around the rest of the living room because he knows that Butters won't mess with him. But I have their ashes now. The night that I found out at about 2 a.m. I didn't go back to sleep till maybe, like, I tried. I was laying in bed and just trying my hardest to go back to sleep, hoping it was a nightmare. When I did go back to sleep at about maybe 7 in the morning, I had a dream about them, and everyone knows that Butters and Steve didn't like each other. They would always fight. They didn't like being around each other. But I had a dream that they were playing with each other and with me, which is definitely something that would have never happened. But I take that as their way of saying bye to me. Like, you all can believe what you want, but I mean, they were playing with each other and with me. I've never had a dream like that whenever I've dreamt of them. Like, it was always just, oh, here's one bunny, here's the other. It was never them playing together, and especially playing with me, because they also hated people. So go figure, I would get the two rabbits that hate each other and hate people. And then a lot of weird stuff has been happening, like Olivia had invited me to join this rabbit page on Facebook. And normally I don't see much of their stuff, but when I was scrolling on Facebook after I woke up again, after it had happened, that's all it was it was just flooded with stuff from the rabbits page. And then, so far, every time me and Gavin have gotten in the car, there's been some rock song talking about heaven. Like, one of them was The Offspring. I don't know the name of the song. I think it's The Offspring. I hope so. Where their song, the lyrics go, and it feels like heaven so far away. And we always called Butters and Steve emo rabbits, because Butters, since he was a dwarf hot tot, he had the black ring around his eye, so it looked like he had eyeliner on. And then Steve was just black and white, but he was a Dutch, but he had a mismark, and so he had more black on his body than white, so instead of being, like, directly cut in half, black and white, it was part of the black came over on one of his paws, on one of his front paws, while the other one was still white. So we called them emo rabbits, and also because if I ever played any of my emo songs, they would both kind of, like, perk up in their cages and kind of be like, oh, hey, what's that? Oh my god. So the fact that it was a bunch of, like, kind of sort of rock songs that were talking about heaven, like, it just kind of made me think that was them. I don't know if rabbits have the power to do that in the afterlife, but, I mean, that's kind of like a huge coincidence that my two edgelord rabbits pass, and then all day I'm just hearing rock songs talking about going to heaven and heaven being far away. Songs about loving someone after death. And then songs about forgiveness too. And then I got them in separate boxes. And I do know which one's which. It's labeled. So this one's Steve, this one's Butters. But I got them in separate boxes because my thoughts were they didn't like each other in life. So why should I have to put them together in death? But all the signs that I've been seeing, I take that as that they forgive me, that they're okay where they are, and that even though they didn't show it in life, they do love me, and that they know that I love them. But I do love them, and I do miss them, and obviously I wish this didn't happen, but the only thing I can do now is just hope that they didn't suffer, and pray that they're okay now. I just want to thank my sister, because I didn't have to see any of it. She even cleaned the cages for me and put them out in the shed, because even Gavin, he went down here and he kind of scoped it to see if there was like a massacre. There wasn't any blood anywhere. There was no blood on the rabbits' bodies either. But even he said that you could definitely, like, if you looked at their cages, you could tell something happened. And I didn't want to see it because depending on the positions their cages were in and how messed up they were, if they were broken or in certain places, then I would get an idea of how it happened. And I don't want to know how it happened. I'm sad enough knowing that it happened, so... And I just hope that they know I love them, and a lot of people in my family loved them. And we all miss them, and they were a bigger impact on my family than I think any of us could have guessed. But I think that will be the end of this video. I've been rambling for 32 minutes. A lot of it has probably been me pausing and trying not to cry. Just know I'm not heartless. I just don't want to cry in a video and look like I'm looking for attention or whatever. I'm just making an update. Just know that, yes, when I end this video, I'm gonna go sit and cry on that couch and watch some more movies, because that's what I've been doing all day. I guess this is us saying goodbye in this video. Butter Steve, I love you guys.